welcome to another OU Insider Under the Visor YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. My name's Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe on the board. Availability list for OU Auburn. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about recruiting. We're going to talk about some team intel. We're going to answer your super chat questions. We're going to do a lot on this YouTube Live. But before we do all that, Parker, let's quickly thank our sponsors and get after it.
Yes, indeed. Let's do that, folks. Riverwind Casino is the presenting sponsor of the OU Insider Under the Visor podcast, as well as OU Insider Live. Riverwind, you know it, you love it. Right off I-35, Highway 9, it's been OKC's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now. Almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars, and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. Also, Jana King is a proud partner of OU Athletics, as well as us here at OU Insider. Jana King is also the greatest team to ever clean, delivering spotless results from stadiums to any size business across the country. So check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janaking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, a word from Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Do you know ball? It's time to prove it and turn your knowledge into real money via Prize Picks. It's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. College football, NFL, whatever your sport of choice is. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks also offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app and use code OU Insider to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code OU Insider to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Let's start, Parker. Do we have any super chats first? I haven't looked real quick. Have you seen it?
It does not look to me like any super chats have yet populated.
All right.
If you want to ensure that your question gets asked, once again, folks, if you're not familiar with how we do things around here, you fire a question at us in super chat form, attach a contribution of any amount. It will get bumped to the top of the queue, and we promise we will address it before the end of the show tonight. So it's not to say we won't answer your question if you just send a standard chat, but super chats get bumped to the top of the queue, and generally we only have enough time to read super chats and maybe 2 or 3 from the standard chat. So, got a question you need answered, got an opinion you want heard, want us to weigh in on, send a super chat our way.
So let's talk about the availability list before we get going, Parker. Man, it is, I was looking at it just a second, trying to find it here real quick as I pull it up. Do you have it in front of you? I got it right here now. All right. Okay. So, man, I know fans are going to look at it and they're going to say, here we go again. Here we go again, man, 3 weeks. Here we go again. I talked to somebody last night for a good while, actually, and straight up asked them, said, is this a practice thing again? Are they going too hard in practice again? Had they gone back to their old ways, Parker, that this is where it's happening? Nope. These are all in-game, just bad luck, just awful. Troy Everett's the only practice injury that actually ended up being substantial. When you're talking about Jacob Sexton, that was obviously in-game. Fasusi, Fabechi Wewu, Jake Michaela, Zion Kearney, right? Marvin Jones Jr. Those are all in-game issues. It's very unfortunate, to be honest, for Oklahoma.
Yeah. And I mean, look, you see the 4 guys there listed as out: Everett, Sexton, Taylor. It's known that Everett is out for the season. It's known that Sexton is going to be out a while. I'd expect Jeremiah Newcomb to be out for quite a while as well. But for the most part, like the bulk of that availability report, the bulk of the guys that are injured, if we're doing some quick math here. 15 guys listed.
Yeah.
9 out of the 15 are questionable or better. And 2 out of the 15 that aren't, 2 out of the 6 that aren't, I should say, and Giovanni Gibson and Eli Bowen, those are guys that are going to be back for Kent State the week after the bye. And so you're never going to be 100% healthy, but Oklahoma is not in dire straits right now when it comes to injuries. And on the other side of the bye, which is well timed for Oklahoma, certainly, they should be close
Hmm.
to 100%. They should be firing on almost all cylinders. There's not going to be any Newcomb, Everett, Sexton, Taylor. Sure, okay, you're not going to have everybody available, but you get Giovanni Gibson back, you get Eli Bowen back, get a chance for Michaela and Weewoo and Fasusi and Keontae Lewis, all the guys that are dealing with something or other to just rest, get back to 100%, be fully themselves again. That sets you up well for the stretch that lies ahead. And again, Kent State lies on the other side of that bye week. So if there's anybody that is, say, 80% for that football game, odds are you're going to be able to rest them up, either hold them out entirely or give them 15, 20 snaps and then turn to the second and third team guys, and you'll be able to win that football game handily. So I know it looks like a lengthy list. I'm really not alarmed by it right now.
No, I agree. Let's just go ahead and get this question out of the way. Um,
Okay. The green arrow. Oh, wait, hang on.
yeah, get the
Yeah.
question out of the way because he's not even on the list.
The green arrow 82 says, is Jaden Gibson still hurt? I think at this point, folks, you can expect that you will not see Jaden Gibson on the field this year for Oklahoma. I think that's a fair expectation to have. And frankly, it gets to a certain point, right, where if you're looking at the outlook in this wide receiver room and the depth that Oklahoma has accumulated, it's fair to wonder whether you ever see Jaden Gibson wear the uniform again. I hope he does. Kid was a lightning rod for Oklahoma in 2023 when healthy, but obviously missed
Mhm.
the entirety of the 2024 season with injury. And from everything I've heard, I don't think he's going to play in 2025 either.
Yeah, I concur. I think there's a lot going on there that you just hope the kid finds his, stable ground somewhere, someplace if it's not Oklahoma down the road. So we'll see. Showtime 409, appreciate the super chat. How we feel about the O line. Love the show. Well, appreciate you. We love you, Showtime 409, and appreciate you always being on here. Uh Look, as Parker said, I don't hmm, as bad as the availability looks on paper, I don't think it's going to be just dire straits come Saturday, if that makes sense. I think you're going to have some of the guys that aren't going to play that are on there. Like that's going to happen. But I think several of them will. At least they're going to give it a go. So, and if they give it a go, you like Oklahoma, the way the O line is constructed, I feel like they'll do okay. And frankly, in talking to people about Auburn, like I'm just keep it to y'all real. Like outside the Ball State game, they really haven't had a great pass rush, and most teams have passed all over them this season. And they have a new staff back there, kind of the culture thing going on there as far as the backing of the defense. They have a really good safeties coach in TJ Rushing that has been good everywhere he's went. Florida State, Texas A&M, he's had really good secondaries at those places. Uh, he's now back coaching on the field. So it's going to take a bit, I think, for them to get used to him, for him to get used to them. And you're seeing that transition play out on the field in Oklahoma. I think has a chance, Parker, to take advantage of that, to be honest, if we're keeping it real. Like they have a chance to keep. So, I mean, as long as the O line does what they're supposed to do, and we expect them to, John Mateer might have a fun day. Just my expectations, Parker.
Jesus Saves. Toss us $5 via Super Chat. I know who Jesus Saves is. We know him. We know his identity now. That's Martin
Yes, we do.
Chase, former OU great and
Yep.
NFL veteran Martin Chase, who will be appearing on the KREF pregame show Saturday morning. Excited to chat with him. He said, Parker, can't wait to talk with you. But are there any big time recruits coming into Norman for this weekend? Yes, there are,
Yes, sir.
including three official visitors, one of whom is committed to the University of Oklahoma, three-star defensive lineman Tank Carrington out of Irvine, California. The other two official visitors, one of them is committed elsewhere, one of them is currently uncommitted. Braden Allen, three-star wide receiver from Lafayette Christian Academy in Lafayette, Louisiana, is committed to Tulane. The odds that commitment sticks, slim to none. He has Oklahoma pushing to flip him. He has Colorado pushing to flip him. He will be at Oklahoma this weekend. He will be at Colorado the following weekend. Oklahoma State and Vanderbilt are trying to get a foot in the door with Braden Allen. But for my money, this is going to come down to OU and Colorado.
Hmm.
I know Colorado hadn't really had it cooking here for too long. It's been, what, 3 years now, going on 3 years since Deion Sanders got to town. Can you think of an OU Colorado battle on the recruiting trail, Brandon? Have we had a heads up OU Colorado battle?
Um,
Maybe like Deacon Schmidt is the
yeah, that's the
closest
only one
thing
I
to
can
it.
think of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
I don't know
really
that we've.
wasn't that high on Colorado.
No, I mean that kid
So,
was a Sooner all the way. Um, but yeah, that looks like the situation for Braden Allen. That it's going to come down to Oklahoma.
ooh, yes.
Meanwhile,
The offensive
while
tackle, 5-star out of IMG. Oh my God.
Jordan Seaton, is that who
Yeah,
you're thinking
Jordan
of?
Seaton's the last one I can remember that he was OU and Colorado actually battled for one. Anyways, go
He
ahead.
never
Sorry.
even OV'd to OU though, did he?
No, he took a couple unofficials, but yeah, that's it.
Um, the other official visitor, the third official visitor, is four-star linebacker Jacob Curry out of Nice High School in St. Augustine, Florida, Tim Tebow's alma mater. We're starting to get a more crystallized sense of where Braden Allen's recruitment is headed. Simultaneously, things are seemingly opening up a bit for Jacob Curry because he was committed to Northwestern for a while. Oklahoma started pushing to flip him. He decommitted. It looked for all the world like it was going to be a pretty open and shut deal. He'd get to Oklahoma for the OV, lock it in. He's got some family ties to the Sooner State. It all made sense, right? But as of late, Miami has gotten involved. Auburn has gotten involved, and most recently, Ohio State has gotten involved. So you're looking at a legit battle at this point for Jacob Curry. Now, I will say, talking to folks on the OU side, there's still a sense of confidence that they're going to be able to lock this thing down, potentially as soon as this weekend. I myself am skeptical. I think he's going to want to see Ohio State. I think he's going to want to see Auburn. I think that's only natural. But the confidence remains high that that kid's going to be a Sooner in the end. We'll see how it all unfolds. He's got visits set up to all four places that I mentioned, the first of which is Oklahoma this weekend. Do believe he's going back to Miami later in the season. He will go to Ohio State. He will go to Auburn. So it's just about making a strong impression this weekend and then continuing to win games and asserting yourself as a championship contender and getting strong play from your linebackers, obviously, which shouldn't be a struggle for Oklahoma because linebacker on the whole has been a strength throughout the duration of the Venables era.
I just have to say, every time somebody uses the phrase "on the whole," all I can think of is Austin Powers, um, and Doctor was it Doctor Evil when he's talking to his son and he says, "It feels good on the whole." He's like, "Oh yeah, they want to call it preparation H or whatever. It feels good." I don't know why I think that every time. Oh my God, that's my childhood. Every time
Hey,
somebody says that phrase. Anyways, go ahead. I
this
digress.
is this is a good question from Jonathan Henley and an understandable one. No Peyton Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next? Malachi Ziegler or what? So yeah, Peyton
Weston
Houston.
Nielsen. Yeah.
Peyton Houston was for the longest time OU's guy, right? Like this was supposed to be OU's guy. This was supposed to be he was supposed to be a Sooner. And then it all kind of turned late in the process. He winds up at LSU. Very surprising all around. We've talked about it at OU Insider. A lot more surprising than you would think would be the case for a Louisiana kid, the fact that he wound up at LSU, but circumstantially, that there's a lot that's still just kind of bizarre about how everything unfolded behind the scenes. Regardless, he's a Tiger. He's already recruiting for LSU. You don't get the sense that his mind's going to be changing. And so it's time for Oklahoma to start pursuing other options. Now, here's what I know. What I don't know, to be clear, is who Oklahoma's next target is going to be in the 27 Classic quarterback. There is a myriad of guys that Oklahoma is going to evaluate as a staff. Malachi Ziegler, the four-star from Benton, Louisiana, certainly one of them. Weston Nielsen, four-star signal caller from Bastrop, Texas. He's one as well. But Oklahoma is actually going to host a 2027 quarterback this weekend, and that is Jaden Jefferson out of the state of California. He is currently an early commit to Sacramento State. He
Fans
is,
are going to hear that and they're just going to, their heads are exploding, Parker. There's some backdrop to that. Talk about what Sacramento State's been doing
well,
on
I
the
mean, yeah,
recruiting trail.
Brennan Marion has been able, because he is so highly regarded across the coaching industry and has had so much success as a coordinator before taking over as the head coach at Sac State. Like there's almost, uh, what would you, what would you liken it to? There's
Uh,
something of well, I
well,
guess this is
Dion,
maybe
it
the easiest
reminds
way.
me of
Yeah,
Dion a little
like
bit. Yeah.
there's a bit of a prime effect where
Yeah.
Brennan Marion has enough of a personality that despite the fact that he's at Sac State and probably shouldn't be able to recruit guys that are FBS caliber football players and win recruitments over or over FBS institutions, he can do that. He's shown the propensity to do that. He's got a top 100 player committed to him right now in the 2026 cycle in Xavier McDonald out of the state of Mississippi. So Sac State's got it cooking a little bit on the recruiting trail. Um, Jaden Jefferson, for the moment, is their quarterback commit in the 2027 cycle. Will he wind up there? Probably not, because I think this is a guy that's going to get some big time offers. Is Oklahoma going to be one of them? We shall see. The big sticking point for a lot of folks with Jefferson is going to be the height. He's not very tall. Not very tall at all. Throws a good ball. He's very mobile, but he's not very tall at all. I would say, having seen him in person, you're talking about a guy that's 5'9". So some people are going to hear that and they're immediately out on Jaden Jefferson. That's fine. That's fine. I don't know how much of an obstacle that's going to be for the Oklahoma staff in terms of whether they ultimately decide to offer and pursue him or not. But one thing we do know is that stature really isn't something that is a huge deal to Ben Arbuckle. I mean, John
Mhm.
Mateer is 6'1", very modest size for a quarterback. Peyton Houston's 5'11",
Pushing it.
and yeah, you're talking about another 2 inches of a step down with Jaden Jefferson. But if the kid can play, I don't think, and if he puts some strong junior tape up, I don't think Oklahoma will hesitate to at the very least give him the time of day. So there are some other guys I have my eye on in the 27 class. A guy that comes to mind based on some past connections to Oklahoma. He's committed to Utah right now, but Thaddeus Thatcher from Arborview High School out in Las Vegas is one to keep in mind. I mentioned Braylon Warren from Omaha, Omaha West Side. He's a blue chip kid that's got a bunch of big time offers. He's worth keeping an eye on. Blake Roscoff from Arizona.
Yep.
That's potentially a name to know. There's a bunch of different directions Oklahoma could go, and it's not entirely clear which direction they will go right now, but they're evaluating their options. Here's the last point I'll make in this regard. You're Oklahoma. Don't have to rush this thing at all. Think about this. Nobody hardly knew Bo Bentley's name a year ago. When you were talking about the big time signal callers in the 2026 cycle, Bo Bentley was not in that conversation because Bo Bentley at that point had 3, maybe 4 high school starts under his belt at
Hmm.
Salina. And so ultimately, the answer may be a guy that is not even on the radar yet. We shall see. But Oklahoma, as one source told me tonight, we're going to do this thing right, not fast.
No, you think Weston Nielsen will be one of them as well that they kind of at least evaluate?
Yeah, I mentioned him.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was reading the chat, so I didn't know if you said even or not. So, um, Clemma 14, appreciate you with the super chat. Where is Jaden Hardy? Jaden Hardy is kind of buried a little bit. Um, I mean, he was a guy that played quite a bit last year at times. This year, however, Michael Boganowski is playing more. Reggie Powers, the third, playing more. You still have Peyton Bowen. You've got RSJ. And then you've got Amarian Robinson, man, who has been coming along very, very fast on the back end of the defense. So there is a lot of, I mean, and I didn't name, Marcus Wimberly as well. So, I mean, like, there's a lot of talent on that back end of the defense. And if you're BV's defense is hard. I'm trying to word this without like slandering anybody. The BV's defense is really hard to learn. He's learning it fine. I think they like consistency. And everybody that I named has been fairly consistent throughout fall camp. And the guys that aren't consistent are the ones you haven't seen or they're still learning the playbook, i.e., who has blown everybody away. The things that he knows, he is proficient as hell at. And he is going to be a player. As a matter of fact, I talked to a source last night that said Amari Robinson maybe this year and maybe half of next year before the light bulb clicks and he's a superstar. So they have high expectations for him, high expectations for Marcus Wimberly, naturally high expectations for Michael Boganowski, who they think is kind of the next big thing for them on the back end of the defense. So, and Peyton Bowen, there's a good chance he returns next year, Parker. So they've got a really good defensive backfield still, super young, and he's kind of lost in the shuffle. At the end of the day, just kind of lost in the shuffle. So we'll see where things go with him. He's so talented, Parker. That's the crazy part
He
about
is really
like
talented, and he had a
freak
great
talent.
spring. He had a
He
great
did.
spring.
And then all of a sudden it just kind of, eh, during fall camp, in summer workouts, eh. And sometimes that happens. They hit a wall. So OU's kind of hoping that he gets over that wall and starts progressing like he was his freshman year and spring because they thought he was going to be special at that point. So we'll see. We'll see where he heads up. Do we have any more
We
super
do.
chat? We do. Okay, go
CJ
ahead.
Anderson tossed us $5 and asked, "What's the plan at center after Michaela? Love the show. Thanks, guys." Well, moving forward with Troy Everett out for the year, the plan at center behind Jake Michaela is figure it the hell out. Because there is no
Mm,
perfect solution to be found there.
no.
Your options are roll with a walk on in Gunnar Allen, roll with a true freshman in Owen Hollenbeck, or move one of your guards to center. The most likely candidate of which is Fabechi Wiwu.
Hmm.
Eddie Pierre Louis has taken some center reps. Basically, you need Jake Michaela to stay healthy all season. If
Yeah.
he doesn't, you're in trouble and you're scrambling and you don't want to
Hmm.
be scrambling.
Yeah. This whole, but you look. Um, I know everybody looks at it and says, "Well, Owen Hollenbeck reminds me a lot of Creed Humphreys," and he does. There's a lot of comparisons there outside of just their looks. They look like they're brothers. Um, he's probably, well, not probably. I just don't think he's there yet, Parker, as far as what Bill Bedenbaugh wants him to do, and I
Oh,
think
yeah. I
that's kind
mean,
of the deal. So,
he's a true freshman. How many
yeah,
true
people
freshmen
have.
are there in year
Well,
one?
Creed didn't.
As
Yeah,
far as Bill Bedenbaugh is concerned, Bill Bedenbaugh is notoriously very, very tough on newcomers,
and
and
particularly at center where you have to make
tends
all the calls.
he tends to give the benefit of the doubt to veterans. And center's a
Yeah,
hard position to play, especially for Bill Bedenbaugh. Gosh, Jake
you
Michael
have to go wee woo.
Jake Michael needs to stay healthy.
Hmm.
And if he doesn't, if for whatever reason he has to miss time, I bet you what would happen is Wee Woo would slide to center and Ryan Foje would play right guard.
Showtime 409, appreciate the super chat. Your favorite EA guy again, Law. Um, who steps up the most Saturday? Ooh, I like that question. And then before we go to Israel, I'll do my deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's a great question.
Who steps up the most?
Okay, so I'm gonna say Danny Okoye has a good first half of play, assuming he plays. I don't know if he's going to play much, but okay, let's assume he plays because obviously our Mason Thomas is out. You need him. This is the first time he's been available essentially this season. Um, so Danny Okoye on defense. I don't sound very confident in that, and I'm not.
You know what my
Um,
answer is?
what's that?
Kendall Daniels. I
I
think
like
this could
that.
be a big weekend for Kendall Daniels,
I like that.
particularly when you're charged with defending a quarterback of Jackson Arnold's archetype. You're going to need Kendall Daniels.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say because this guy has just been doing this the whole time on defense. Screw what I just said. This guy's been doing this every. You know where I'm going with this. David Stone. I think David Stone has himself a day. He's been so good the first 3 weeks, and then offensively, Mr. Reliable, Mr. Burger, Jaron Canick on
Mackey Ward
offense.
front runner.
Yeah,
Jaron King.
I until he has a bad game, I'm calling it. He's gonna have a good one every freaking week, dude. He has become such a fan favorite
And
because
he's
he's
consistent. He's
yeah.
just he's incredibly consistent.
I do like the Heineke that I just read. I think that's in PJ. I think those are two good picks. But I was going. I just think I love where David Stone's headed this year. I think he's headed to superstardom the way he's played. Hey, real quickly before we move on, um, look, we got to thank another sponsor real quickly. I know some of y'all are looking for tickets when it comes to Auburn coming to town. Former Sooners quarterback Jackson Arnold as well. If not that game, I know some of the Sooners fans want to make sure you see some of the SEC home games like Missouri, LSU, Ole Miss, maybe even go to that OU Texas game, which is why I want to give a shout out to our sponsor SeatGeek today. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is #1 rated ticket app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. SeatGeek is also the official ticket marketplace of the Oklahoma Sooners. So all the Oklahoma Sooners tickets on SeatGeek are authentic and secure. I use SeatGeek. I used it for my Shane Gillis concert that I went to a few months ago, which was awesome. When it comes to the championship team in Oklahoma City, I used it to get some of those tickets as well. So, man, SeatGeek's pretty awesome. I'll just leave it at that. And if you're wondering if you're spending too much on tickets, SeatGeek has a deal for you because they have a green little button, they got a red button that tells you whether it's good or bad. Obviously, green means good, you're getting a good deal. Red means you're getting a bad deal. And with all that said, OU Insider has a code for you guys, so you guys can get 10% off your next ticket purchase. All you have to do is go to SeatGeek.com and type in Insider 10 in the promo section, or you just download the app using the link in the description below, and it will automatically use Insider 10%. Thank you, SeatGeek. All right.
Israel Maxwell.
Yep.
Israel Maxwell sent us a super chat worth $5 and said, OU fans are lucky to have y'all. Love you guys. Well, thank you. Thank you, Israel. Very kind. Question. Who's the 126 recruit we'd open NIL for and have a real shot at landing/flipping? Interesting question.
Oh man, I gotta go. Now I gotta go to the offer list. Yeah, but boy, we're like, na 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 na.
I
That's a great question, man. It's really hard to like.
and honestly, I don't know that there is an answer for you, Israel. Like I don't know that there is one guy
I
that
think Jay
Oklahoma.
Krell was that guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, Like at this point, there's just so little left on the board for Oklahoma, and there really aren't any flip targets outside of Braden Allen. I would say if there is an answer, it's probably Johnny Jones, the four-star offensive tackle from the state of Florida that decommitted from UCLA on Sunday. Now, Oklahoma has been in touch with Johnny Jones. He called OU one of the schools that stands out to him this morning in an interview
Mhm.
with Hayes Fawcett of On 3. And he's a really talented football player and has college ready size and a college ready frame. Moves really, really well for a big dude. And I mean, he's not Michael Fasusi, he's not Ryan Foje. I don't know that he's a year one guy, but he could be a year two guy. He could absolutely be a year two guy. So with schools like Penn State and Missouri also in the mix, with Oklahoma having just two offensive line commits, albeit two really good ones in Deacon Schmidt and Noah Best, would not surprise me if they cut a pretty sizable check to make sure Johnny Jones winds up in their class. We shall see.
I think I think you're kind of right. I was trying to find a linebacker, like just that OU was after, and they just kind of dropped Oklahoma. Just maybe it was due to distance or something to that effect. But yeah, I think you're probably right. Johnny Jones is probably the correct answer there because they really, really need more offensive linemen when it comes to um, just depth. I mean, you're seeing it with the availability list, right? It's been getting worse and worse and worse for them. So, uh, was that the last? I know we
No, we
got
got a
one.
couple more.
Okay.
Josue Munoz gave us $2 and asked, biggest threat left on the schedule? My opinion, Tennessee.
Mm,
Tennessee looks
I
good.
agree.
Tennessee looks better than I expected them to look. I think it's Alabama. To me, it's still Alabama.
So
And
you buying the Simpson stuff? You buying he's getting hot and being a good quarterback?
he's played well so far,
He
man.
has.
He has played really well, and I think that week one loss is fluky. It's not something I'm putting a ton of stock into. Not because I think Florida State is bad. I think that's
Yeah,
I
Florida State fans.
yeah. No, I think that team is good. But week one results, I talk about it till I'm blue in the face. Rarely are they indicative of where a team will be at come October, November. And I think that's particularly true of Alabama. That's a really talented roster.
Yeah,
I mean, that's obviously it's year two for Kalen DeBoer, so you've got some of the DeBoer guys in the mix there, but the nucleus of that roster is still a Saban nucleus. And
yeah.
Kalen DeBoer can coach some ball. And so even though Alabama started off the season with that upset loss at the hands of Florida State, I like what I've seen from Ty Simpson so far. I think that is an extremely talented roster, top to bottom, a college football playoff level uh, roster when it comes to just sheer talent. And also, they get Oklahoma on their home field this year in Tuscaloosa, in Bryant Denny. To me, that is still the toughest test.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, I guess, probably go with your first pick, and I'm gonna say Josh Heupel, Joey Aguilera, and the Tennessee Vols. And it's not one because it's at Tennessee. Two, because I don't know what it is about playing in Knoxville, but weird things happen. And my gut thinks this is going to be a night game, Parker. My gut says they're going to make it a night game, which would be fun as hell, by the way. That would be awesome. But the one thing that kind of here's how I look at it. If LSU gets going, it's got to be LSU, but I don't know that they're going to get going. They've been so wishy-washy to start the season that I'm not sure where they're at. However, even if Tennessee and Aguilera and Josh Heupel are they're clicking, you still have Oklahoma's defense they have to contend with. And on the flip side, Tennessee has looked like they have issues on the defensive side of the ball at times. They give up some big chunk plays that we haven't seen Oklahoma give up. Granted, it was against Georgia and a few other teams, but I don't know, man. Like, I just think playing in Knoxville, I think that atmosphere with the Tennessee Vols fans, I just think that that's going to be so hard. I'm not discounting Alabama and Tuscaloosa. I think they're one of the most talented teams in college football. OU's just had Alabama's number more often than not when they've played, no matter where they've played at. That until I see it become a consistent thing outside of the Orange Bowl game in 2018, and even then, right, they got up big, and then Oklahoma scared the living crap out of them, right? Like I, I don't know. There's just something about it to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Tennessee. I think it's Tennessee. I know we got one more.
We got a couple
Uh,
more actually. Tyler
okay.
Claiborne, $20 from Tyler. Thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate you, Tyler. Wow.
He said, I know it's early, but do you guys think Venables continues defensive coordinator duties next season? Love this podcast and look forward to it every week. And at this
I
point,
don't.
Tyler,
I
given the
don't.
way Oklahoma's defense has played through 3 weeks, if they continue to play like this over the course of a full season, why would Brent Venables hand the reins to anybody else? I mean, it's a very simple way of looking at it, but that's how I see it. If it ain't broke, don't break it. And I listen. I feel strongly that it should have been this way from the jump for Oklahoma. And I get it. First time head coach wants to offload some responsibilities. Maybe he feels like he needs to offload some responsibilities. It makes total logistical sense. I'm not second guessing what Brent Venables did when he showed up as Oklahoma's head football coach. But I feel strongly that there's nobody in college football that is a better defensive coordinator than Oklahoma's head football coach. And so, as long as he is the one calling the shots, I will be immensely confident in what
Yeah.
Oklahoma's defense is capable of doing and accomplishing. And that's not to say that they can't play at a comparable level under the direction of someone else, but Brent Venables is the best, man. And he's been the best for my entire lifetime, more or less. There's and I mean for the last decade or so, it's been indisputable. I mean, this guy is as good as they come when it
Yeah.
comes to dialing up on the defensive side of the ball.
I'm gonna disagree. Now, maybe next year. You may be right on that one next year, but I think in the not too distant future, as long as Brandon Hall stays on staff, he will be calling the defense at some point. And I'll say this, there have been times this season, like Brent's called the defense 95% of the time, but there are times in series that he's dealing with other things. Um, and let's just say Brendan Hall or maybe a few other guys have called the series or two. And it was late in games naturally, but yeah, there's times that he's prepping them. He's prepping them. And Brandon Hall has been a good defensive coordinator throughout his whole time and being a DC, no matter where he stopped. So, and he knows if there's anybody that knows Brent Venables' defense like the back of their hand, somebody that's been around him for 20 years, it's Brandon Hall. So, to me, that's probably where it goes at some point. Maybe not next year. Maybe not next year. But I think maybe 27, 28. I think BV goes, you know what? I'm comfortable. The program's on the right track. It's stable now. I can now be a CEO and just dictate what's going on. Now, that said, I also think, and I don't know if you brought this up or not, Jim Nagy being the general manager offloads a lot of other things that allows him to be Venables to be a defensive coordinator.
Bingo.
So there's that too. So if he does stay as the DC, I think that's why, because he doesn't have all the day-to-day administrative crap that he had to deal with prior to Jim Nagy showing up and in that front office. So I think, I don't know. That's an interesting question.
It
That's a
is.
really interesting question. Anyways,
Couple
all right.
more.
Hey, thank you for the 4.99. Thanks for the prayers the other week, guys. Yeah, well, thank you, man. We appreciate you for being on here with us no matter what. Medical results came back mainly great. Praise the Lord, dude. That's awesome. Love to hear it. Life has changed. Is JA's past here more helpful for Auburn or us? I love this question. Love it. Love it. Love it. I don't think it matters. At the end of the day, yes, they're going to know what gets under Jackson Arnold's skin. But at the same time, he knows the weaknesses because Brent Venables during fall camp and spring when he would in those offensive play meetings and they were watching film of the offense going up against the defense. Venables is telling him how to break his defense, where the weak points are, all that type of stuff. I think it balances out, Parker. And also because Jackson's running a completely different offense than he was at Oklahoma. So meshing what BV told him how to break it in the offense that they run in comparison to what Auburn runs is also not going to be very easy. That said, if you like put a gun to my head or whatever and you made me point and pick, I would probably say, which is probably just a bad analogy right there. All right. Awful. If you made me pick, I apologize for that. If you made me pick, yeah, I don't know. I would probably pick Oklahoma. I'd say it helps Oklahoma more.
Let me
You?
put it this way. If you give the same study guide to a student and a professor and then put the same test in front of them, who's going to score better on the test?
Professor.
That's how I see it.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not to say the student won't score well, but you always give the edge to the professor. And the
Yeah.
professor, in this analogy, is one Brent Venables.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like I said, I'd lean Oklahoma if you were going to make me pick. But at the end of the day, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like it just doesn't matter because he has amazing wide receivers around him. Like, amazing wide receiver. Could you imagine? And no offense to OU's wide receiver core. Could you imagine OU having Cam Coleman, Eric Singleton? Uh, oh my gosh, what's the other Fields? Horatio Fields. Those are ballers, dude. Straight ballers. So I think that helps him. I do. I have a question for. Do we have another super chat?
We do.
Okay.
Levi S says, after this one, I believe we're caught up. Levi S says, as always, thank you for the content. Also, you might have already said, but who do you think we're starting at center this weekend? Assuming he can go, and I expect him to be able to go, it'll be Jake Michaela.
Yeah. Yeah. And if not Jake Michaela, it's got to be what Fabici, probably.
Well,
Assuming
assuming
he can go.
Kaveci's healthy.
Assuming he
Yeah.
can go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming.
Easiest way to just answer that question is assume Jake Michael is playing. Assume Jake Michael is playing. If at any point we think or know differently, we'll let you know and we'll give you a heads up as to how Oklahoma is preparing. But
Yeah.
the expectation is that Jake Michael will be able to play.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So the biggest matchup this weekend, to me, unequivocally, I don't think it's debatable, is Auburn's offensive line versus OU's defensive line. And not because it's SEC inline play, but because that is good on good. Their line is loaded. It's got a lot of experience. It's super talented. OU's defensive line, considered by many the best defensive front in college football in the SEC, against what some considered one of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the SEC. That is going to be an amazing matchup to watch. It's made for television, Parker. Made for TV matchup. If you were going to pick a matchup, though, and you don't have to name names because it's hard to know every name on Auburn's list as far as the offensive line goes. Who do you think the biggest matchup is to watch in that battle of trenches?
Got to be PJ versus Xavier Chaplin to me because I'm under the expectation that PJ is going to start in the absence of our Mason Thomas.
Oh yeah, he's going to.
And
Yeah,
this could be a coming out party for PJ. Things break right, and I think his game, his style is going to enable him to get after Xavier Chaplin a little bit.
Mhm.
And I'm enthused by that possibility. See if PJ can raise a little hell in the first half before our Mason Thomas gets back in action.
And before I give my answer, I just want to thank everybody that's watching because we're dang near 3,000 live viewers. So give it up to OU fans, and I'm assuming some Auburn fans. Thank you guys for watching. Um, hey, I will say, I just think the interior of the offensive line, I can't remember who their center is, but I think Jaden Jackson, David Stone, Dominic Williams, Grayson Halton versus the interior of their offensive line. Just that the three. I think that is just going to be mauling on mauling, dude. Just dudes going after dudes. That is going to be fun to watch. And in particular because of how Auburn likes to run the ball. And they like to do a lot of things. They like to do a lot of eye candy and all that type of stuff, but they like to be physical. So for me, those interior guys are where it's at for me.
Mm.
100%. Mr. Dilligaff, is that how you pronounce it? Dilligaff?
I believe that stands for Mr. Do I look like I give an F?
Mr. Do I look like I give an F? I know, but like I just was going to pronounce it Dilligaff if that was going to be okay. Uh, hearing rumors that not in OTT and Jacoby aren't seeing the field because they either don't have the dog drive in practice. Any truth that not? Who's not?
Jaden Ott.
Jaden. Oh, okay. Not. Jaden not. Okay. How did you pick that up with not?
Because it's been a pretty popular
Okay. Well, I haven't
it's
seen
been a
it.
pretty popular meme on social media this week. More like Jaden Not.
Gotcha. I missed that. Man, I haven't dove that much in the social then. Look, Jaden Not, I will, how do I want to word this? I don't think dog and drive would be what I would call the issue.
Here's maybe the way I would put it. Does Jaden Ott have that dog in him? Perhaps. If so, it hasn't come off the leash yet.
Yeah. He's also been very lax in his physicality. And that's how I would put it. Just the physical nature of him. And I guess that would go underneath the dog part. Jacoby, no. Jacoby's been banged up. He's been hurt. I guess last week was the first week he came. He played last week. Quite a bit, actually, didn't he? If I
He
remember
did
seeing
play quite
right.
a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
In the Temple game. He didn't
Yeah.
play the first 2 weeks, but he played quite a bit against
Hey, well,
Temple.
he's hurt the first 2 weeks or banged up. So yeah, he played quite a bit and did fairly well. So yeah, Jacoby, there's never been an issue for dog or anything like that with Jacoby. The issue with Jacoby has always been just being able to stay on the defensive side of the ball. He regressed last year because of the back and forth that he had, and he's having to play catch up now. But they still think he's got a lot of talent and has a chance to be really good for them down the road. Um, what if you were going to pick like the stats, just the stats of Jackson Arnold and John Mateer? Rushing, passing, touchdowns, interceptions. Like, how do you see this thing playing out?
I I don't know. I don't know what the flow of this game is going to look like.
I think it's gonna be. There's a lot of people having it high scoring. I don't know that I believe that.
I don't think it's going to be a high scoring football game.
I think
I
Oklahoma could put points on the passing
If
defense for
anybody
Auburn. Yeah,
runs away, it's going to be Oklahoma
agreed. Agreed.
because I think Oklahoma's secondary is way better than Auburn's secondary.
Yeah.
John Mateer could make some stuff shake through the air downfield with this core of receivers.
Yep. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm scared to death if I'm Oklahoma. Cam Coleman. I'm scared to death of Horatio Fields. I'm scared to death of Eric Singleton. Straight up. The problem has been they haven't tried to stretch the field but a few times this year. And granted, that has a lot to do with how the defense have been playing Auburn with a lot of too high coverages and not allowing over the top. I think Oklahoma is going to play a lot of cloud and umbrella coverage as well to make them play side to side like they have been and really force the issue on the run game. But I think if I was going to say Jackson Arnold, 160 yards passing, maybe. I don't know touchdowns. I don't want to predict that. I think that's hard to predict. And then I'll say John Mateer has close to 300 passing. I don't think that's outlandish.
No, I think he can hit, I think he can hit 300 through the air.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too high of a bar. This is an interesting question, and it wasn't a super chat, but I wanted to answer it anyway because I this is not the first time I've been asked this question. John Criswell wanted to know, explain to me because I don't get it. How was last week's kick dropped at the one and then knelt in the end zone and it wasn't a safety? So, yes, good question. On a kickoff, if the ball is not possessed in the field of play, it can be down in the end zone for a touchback. So, if the returner had possessed the ball at the 1 yard line and fumbled it backwards into the end zone and then knelt, then it would have been a safety. But because it merely bounced off his hands and he never actually gained possession of the ball, he could go collect it in the end zone and kneel down. That's the rules on a kickoff.
Yeah. It's a weird rule too, by the way. Like strange rule. But the biggest gaff though, did you see they had like the gaffs and the Temple dude catching the kick and stepping out of bounds when he planted was like
Yeah,
one of
that
the
was
top five.
bad.
That was awful. That was awful. I've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like that before. But that was about the day that was a day that Temple had for sure. Do you think Blaylock gets close to the century mark again this week? Or do you think John Mateer leads the team in rushing?
I think John Mateer leads the team in rushing, to
I
be
do
honest.
too.
And like this to me feels like the type of game where Oklahoma's going to adopt a similar script to the one that they used against Michigan. It won't be. I don't think John Mateer's going to run the ball 20 times like he did against Michigan. But I do think Oklahoma's going to lean heavily on the pass because it's where Auburn is most vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Plus, just with the way that Oklahoma's offensive line has been, I don't want to use the word struggle with run game with the run game blocking. They've just been more comfortable with pass blocking. And so to me, I don't know. I feel like that's also why you choose to pass. And you have the veteran quarterback back there that has just been an absolute dog his whole career. And you're going to lean on him. You're going to lean on his feet. You're going to lean on his arms. And you're going to go say, win the game for us. I'm actually shocked. Like the nicknames. Have you heard some of the nicknames outside of Moneyline Mateer? No. They're trying to come up with like a different version of Johnny Football for him, which I hate.
Let's just let
Because
Johnny Manziel be
yeah,
Johnny
let Johnny
Manziel
have
and
it. Yeah.
let John Mateer be John Mateer. Hey, here's an interesting statistic from our producer Spencer. Good research here. Jackson Arnold, and this kind of puts into perspective the way that Auburn's offense is functioning thus far through 3 games and the kind of system that they're cultivating for Jackson Arnold there. Last year, Jackson Arnold's average depth of target was 7.9 yards. That was 18th out of 20 quarterbacks that qualified in the SEC. 7.9 yard average depth of target. His average depth of target thus far this season at Auburn,
Been.
even lower.
Mm-hmm.
7.78.
Yeah. They've been going side to side. That's been a big issue. There's been like I was. Has anybody paid attention to how little they've passed over the middle this season? You remember last year whenever it was like, does Oklahoma have a route that goes across the middle?
Sure didn't feel like it sometimes.
I think Auburn fans feel that way right now too. And it's not a negative. It's just how that's played out. Um, and apparently there's been some guys open, so we'll see. I just think this is going to be an interesting thing. I also think, do you think OU fans are going to boo him?
Yes. Yes, they
Okay,
assuredly.
outside of the student section, do you think the average OU fan is going to boo Jackson Arnold?
Yes. Yes, I believe they will.
Really
Uh-huh.
interesting.
You got to think about it through the eyes of a fan. The average fan, keep in mind, the average fan is not the informed fan.
No, that's
The
true.
average fan is the casual fan. They read headlines on ESPN. They might scroll Twitter a little bit and they watch games on Saturdays, and that's pretty much it. The average fan holds Jackson Arnold, if not primarily culpable for the struggles of 2024, significantly culpable for the issues of 2024. And so,
Okay.
yes, Jackson Arnold will more than likely face a cascade of boos. It's only natural.
It is what it is. I think there's a lot of things that played into that, and I know people hate when I say it, but I said it on our board with the chat today. I have a VIP chat for those that aren't members of OU Insider. And we're talking. People are asking VIP questions. It's much like Super Chat, but we just go. It goes on for days. So people ask questions and I answer it. You can start your own thread, all that stuff too on OU Insider. We'll answer those too. But the chat's fun for people. Um, and essentially, it was. I just felt like everybody has to look at it, take a step back, and say, like, look, you couldn't have expected Hawkins or Arnold to be successful with the hand that they were dealt last year. Like that just it's ridiculous. Now, maybe John Mateer could, but that's because he's got experience out the butt, dude. Like that dude has played a lot of football. Going into the season last year, it was Hawkins' first time ever starting. Jackson's second start was game one, Parker. Second start. You see what I'm saying? Like you're asking these guys that were essentially both freshmen to go, yeah, it's on you all. Go win the game, throw into fourth, fifth, sixth string guys, walk-ons, all that type of stuff. That to me has always bothered me a little bit because, and probably because I'm a quarterback dad too, so that probably has a lot to do with it. That I see it from that lens. That there's a lot that goes in for a team being successful. And yeah, the quarterback's culpable for 99.9% of the stuff. But when you're playing with a short deck, brother, it ain't fun.
Nope.
We got a couple of super chats.
We do. Braden Gaines tosses $5 and asked 45.5 over under on Blaylock rushing yards. I'd take the over on that. I think he gets north of 45. I don't think it's going to be a super prolific night for him or any of the OU backs, but I think he gets to 50, I would say. Um,
Yeah,
Mr.
I think 50.
Dilligaff hit us again.
Yeah.
$5 more. Are we going to have the same turnout for OVs that we did for the Michigan game
No.
this week? Were there any official visitors at the Michigan game?
Yeah, but I think he just means visitors. I don't think he's
Yeah,
deciphering between unofficial and
it'll be about half of what it was
yeah.
for the Michigan game, to my understanding.
So, and I said this on our VIP board to people. That question was asked. This is the difference, people. I think people need to understand. They knew for months that the Michigan game was going to be a night game, so they were throwing all their cards into that game. The rest of the season, outside of knowing that the Texas game's at 2:30, it's an either or. So it's like a 5 p.m. or a 2:30 or a 5 p.m. kickoff like it was for this game, right? And then later on it's either 5 to 7 for a couple other games and then you got a couple 11 a.m. games that are on the road or whatever, but yeah, the either or is kind of screw Parker, like not screw Parker, but screw everything up, Parker. They screw you, Parker. Those either or games screw you, man. They kind of do because you kind of set plans thinking it's going to be one thing and then it's another. That always sucks. But, anyways, there is a Auburn fan, a couple of them in there, and they're battling out with the OU fans in the chat, bro. It's fun to
As
see.
they do.
Yeah, apparently OU fans are obsessed with Jackson Arnold. I mean,
I think OU fans are pretty content with the guy they have playing quarterback right now. As Brent Venables said in his press conference earlier this week, Jackson Arnold's transfer worked out for him and it worked out for Oklahoma.
It worked out for everybody. Yes. It's like, if you talk about a trade that worked out, Tennessee and UCLA, one, it did not work out. The other, thumbs up.
Yeah, that exchange was one-sided as all get out.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. All right. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Advisor YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube, if you're not subscribed to our podcasting platforms that you're listening to us on, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. We thank you guys so much. Man, we had almost 3,000 people on this live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We do this because of you all. We also do OU Insider VIP because of you all. And that is where you get most of your information if you know anything about OU Insider. You can go over there right now. You can sign up for $1 the first week. You click that little green button. If you go to ouinsider.com, it'll take you over there. You can get $1 the first week. Plus, you get the Athletic on OU Insider and on 3 for a whole year if you sign up right now. That's a 2-for-1 deal, by the way. It's $11.99 a month, but you also get the Athletic for a whole year, complimentary on OU Insider and on 3. If you are, or you can obviously sign up for a whole year for $119.99 as well, which is also a really good deal. It's actually cheaper than, way cheaper than actually doing the monthlies. But anyways, if you are a teacher, if you're a college student with the .edu, if you're a teacher with a teacher email account, if you're active duty military, send us an email to ouinsider@rivals.com. We will respond to you with a promo code to get OU Insider for $1 a month for 3 months. That's $1 a month for 3 months. If you're a teacher, it doesn't matter where you teach. If you're elementary, preschool, whatever, you send us an email from your teacher email account, proof that you are a teacher. If you're a college student at Timbuktu University, if you're at East Central, it doesn't matter where you go to school. You send us an email from a .edu saying, I want to be on OU Insider. We'll send you a promo code. Same with active duty military, whether you're at Army, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, Marines, doesn't matter. We thank you guys for your service. We're trying to help you guys. Parker's wife is in the military. I'm a vet. We love our military. Always trying to help you guys out. All right. That's going to do it. For Parker Thune, for Spencer Forsythe on the board, my name is Brandon Drum. You guys have a blessed day.